School voucher legislation is finally headed to the House floor, and while the vote was routine, the hearing was not. The committee did not stream the hearing, despite significant public interest. Fox 4's Casey Stiegel is in with developments and the next steps for the legislation. Casey.
Yeah, Steve, good evening. Two bills passed the House Public Education Committee today. One relates to public school funding. The other is about school choice. And before any votes were even cast on the bills, fireworks between some Republican and Democratic lawmakers.
Prior to any discussion about the matters at hand during Thursday's House meeting, sparring between Committee Chair Brad Buckley and Congressman James Tallarico over the unusual decision to not live stream the full meeting despite it routinely being done before.
We need more transparency, not less. We don't need backroom deals. We need an open process where Texans can hear about the massive changes that are being proposed to our public education system.
All right, a quorum is present.
Without giving a definitive answer for the lack of a live stream, it was down to business. Up first, HB 2, a school funding measure designed to increase financial support for public schools by raising teacher salaries and boosting the basic allotment schools receive for each student per year from the originally proposed $220 to $395.
Chair hears none. Substitute is adopted. The chair moves that House Bill 2 as substituted be reported favorably to the full House.
Following no major dissent, HB 2 passed committee by 13-2. Next, it was on to school choice, SB 2, which would use taxpayer dollars to create educational savings accounts, also known as school vouchers. Capped at $1 billion the first 2 years, ESAs would allow families to use public funds to help pay for private school tuition. Despite building in priorities for low-income households and disabled students, opponents argue the majority of children won't qualify.
This bill increases the demands on the taxpayer because they have to fund a whole now new lane of schools. And in fact, we are saying that after this next year cap expires, they could be on the hook for the private school tuition of every child currently in private school.
After some back and forth, SB 2 did advance out of the House committee with a vote of 9-6, mostly along party lines. Governor Abbott praised the work, as did Lieutenant Governor Patrick, who says he's putting his faith in newly elected Speaker Dustin Burrows to fully see it through.
You know, there's a new sheriff in town over there, and that's why I'm optimistic. I'm a little concerned about the clock ticking, but I'm optimistic that the new sheriff is going to do what he said he would do.
All right, so tonight it is unclear when the bills are expected to make it to the full House for consideration. For context, in years past, similar legislation passed the upper chamber, but it did die in the House. The current legislative session runs through June 2nd.